Then Reverend Tom will lead us in a meditation, followed by his message, Know Yourself.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Our thoughts, our prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts, our prayers, listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
Good morning, good friends. I am so pleased to lead you in guided meditation this morning. Please feel free to use this time as you would use it. Feel free to adjust your position so that you feel truly comfortable in your space. Many of us here will close our physical eyes, but it's up to you. This is your time. Your time to be at one with your highest self and your deepest self. And so I invite us all to take a great big deep cleansing inhale and exhale. And simply relax into this time. Relax, sweet child. And allow the knowings and the voice deep within you to simply come to the fore right now. Continue to breathe deeply. Allow your mind to go where it will, listening to the voice, listening to the call. invite us all to take a journey back in time and bring to your attention your very first best friend. That person you first came to trust in your young life. That person with whom you shared your secrets, with your best friend forever. See their face. See their face. Notice their eyes, how bright they are. Hear their laughter, here with you today. And speak through your heart, I am so glad to be with you again. We laughed so much together, and we cried too. Feel their presence right here, right now. Your first ever best friend. Thank you for being here, best friend. Remember the time when? It's good to think of you again and the joy you brought to my life. Continue to breathe deeply into this moment. Well, I must leave now, good friend. I'll leave this moment, but you will be with me today. And the memories we shared will remain with me forever and bring to me peace. Goodbye for now. And in the name and in the nature of the living Christ, to the memories of our first best friend, we say amen. Once again, good morning, everyone. It's a joy to be here today. I drove from Chicagoland this morning, kind of a long drive. I seem to be drawn to areas of the country where they don't engage in football at the professional level. Go Bears. We're up for our bi-seasonal Packer whipping, I suppose. I don't know. I'm here today partly through the graces of Reverend Moe, and was referred to Reverend Moe by April Kane Breeze, my good friend, who I know is a good friend of this ministry. My talk today is on the power of understanding. Apparently you've been going through the 12 powers, and understanding came up under my name, so it's good to be here. And yet understanding is kind of like the wind, isn't it? You can't see it. I can't say, here you go, here's a cup of it. All I can see are the effects of it and the experience of understanding. And since understanding occurs in the realm of ideas as opposed to the realm of form, I'll be talking about the experience of it today and how at least I define it. Then as I thought about it, isn't the same true for all the 12 powers? I mean, they're all like the wind. You can't see them, but man, you can experience the effect of them, whether I'm engaging in them or avoiding them. So I'd like to provide a clear example of how clear communication can promote understanding. As a new person speaking here today, I received from this ministry Sunday service guest speakers guidelines. And I was very appreciative of it. They went on to say the following guidelines and suggestions are an effort to standardize and formalize our Sunday services. It's our intention to create as professional and inspirational a service as possible. So immediately I began to have an understanding of Unity of Sheboygan. Oh, I kind of get it. It went on to say the guest speaker's responsibility is to deliver the message. Members serving as platform persons will conduct the remaining events in order of service. Goes on to tell me I have 20 to 25 minutes to engage with you. With the understanding, it said, that we do not want negative pictures or suggestions being imprinted into our consciousness. We prefer that you do not refer to any disease state or current events in graphic detail. Off-color jokes or comments are not appropriate. Please do not talk about politics or degrade other religions or people. If in doubt, leave it out. People come to be uplifted, inspired, and encouraged. Now I'm feeling it. I mean, I'm 130 miles away, and I came to an understanding about what Unity of Sheboygan is, some understanding, and what they expect from me. Professional appearance. Men should wear suits or sports jacket. Ties are preferred, but not a requirement. First time, I'm trying to make a good impression. Goes on to speak of women's dress, and then asks, look, no jeans or shorts, tennis shoes. Your outfit enhances your message. If it does, unless your outfit enhances your message. If it does, please contact the office. What I read provided me with a clear understanding of what you expected of me and what you needed from me. If we were as clear in all our relationships, I think they'd be a lot easier. The other day, just a couple of weeks ago, I was giving a presentation at the Roselle, Illinois library to the library staff. It was part of my seminar, The Art of Making the Right Decision. And the library director, and in that seminar, we talk a lot about relationships and how they affect decisions we make. The library director says, you know, when I'm with my boyfriend and I'm feeling sick, you know, I want some TLC from him. I want him to really care for me. But he says, not me, I don't want to catch what you have. I asked her, well, what would you like your boyfriend to do? She says, I don't know, you know, just can you get me some NyQuil or something like that? I said, well, the next time that this happens, will you ask him to get you some NyQuil? Give him the understanding of what you want. I said, or the next time you want something from him, can you ask him for it? Then he would have an understanding of what you need. She agreed to do that. Clear communication promotes that understanding. Oh, I see. Now, as I was provided by your guidelines, I had an understanding of what you wanted, and I could have said, oh my God, what a rigid organization. I mean, they tell me how to dress. They tell me what to say. They tell me what not to say, right? There are different perspectives to everything. But if I hold a clear understanding of who and what I am, Spirit incarnated, the Christ in me standing here in front of you, then what you need from me, what your policies are, they don't define me. And I have a choice as to whether I want to engage in them or not. And since they certainly didn't violate any of my standards, I'd be glad to. Clear communication helps promote understanding, especially if I have an understanding of who I am. So I have a story to share with you that highlights how important it is to understand who we are. And this is from the Daily Word back in July and August of 2014. Her name is Felicia. When she was 16 years old, by all cultural and societal standards, she was a success, an honor student from a good family. For the next 7 years, though, she spiraled downward in what she described as her dark night of the soul. When she headed for college, she masked her depression and medicated her pain with cold medicine and other sleep-inducing medications. She says ages 16 to 23 are a painful blur for Felicia. She remembers the night it all changed. Her sister had scored 2 tickets to this movie premiere that she was dying to see. And then she found out that the second ticket was for her sister's boyfriend. She said she cried for hours and felt that her heart would break. Over movie premiere tickets? When we're living a life of someone else's values, I suggest to you, when we're not understanding who we really are, something small can get us off, can set us off. We're vulnerable in those conditions. So in the midst of her despair, she heard Grandma's voice from the past say to her, "Get up. Heartbreak can kill a person." So she said she got up, determined to fight for her emotional health. That, to me, was the very beginning of spiritual understanding to Felicia. Kind of a divine awareness of, wait a minute here, there's more here to me than this that's going on. Over time, Felicia realized that the primary culprit was her falling into the trap of living up to someone else's images and thoughts and perceptions of her? Yeah, perceptions of her. She says social pressure can make it hard to honor your own voice. But I learned there are 3 things we must speak up for. First is our truths. We can heal and thrive when we refuse to remain captive to others' perceptions. Opting for pretense instead of reality results in emotional imprisonment. Ever been there? I sure have. She goes on to say that we must speak up for our boundaries. The word no is a complete sentence. Apparently, she was unable to say no when she needed to say no. I like what David Emerald and Donna Zajanc of the Empowerment Triangle organization say. The word yes means nothing when we really mean or want to say no. Ever do that? Oh, sure, I'll do it for you. Man, I don't know why I did that. They go on to say our nature is to make everything turn out well and create a smooth path in our relationships. One reason we don't want to say no, according to them, is because it can be seen as a form of rejection, and since we're nice people, we don't want to reject anybody. Lastly, but here's the paradox here. We are defined as much by what we reject as much as that we accept. And we're defined by as much as what we say yes to and what we say no to. If we can't say no to something that we really want to say no to, then at that moment we don't stand for anything. And we have forgotten who we really are. Then I let you, whoever you are, live my life for me. Apparently, Felicia came to an understanding of that truth when she realized no is a complete statement. Nope, don't want to do that. Thank you. Appreciate your asking. And can you see how she gained understanding, this aha kind of thing, of where her life had been and where it needed to go? She really started to, I'll say, awaken spiritually. Understanding. That in humankind which comprehends is understanding. Charles Fillmore says it knows and comprehends in wisdom. Its comparisons are not made in the realm of form, but in the realm of ideas. It is our capacity to gain direct perceptions of truth, of your truth, of your truth. The title of my talk today is Know Yourself. Self with a capital S. Know yourself. Your highest self and your deepest self. Perhaps it should be understand yourself. And here are just some of the symptoms of understanding. Oh, I get it. Or, oh, yeah, I see what I should be doing. I really get it now. Or for me, sometimes it's, duh, missed that one. Now, these are symptoms we don't want to go away. These aren't like cold or flu symptoms. We want these symptoms to stay with us. We want that understanding. We want to know and then respond from that knowing. Felicia goes on to say in this story, finally, we must stand up for our feelings. We must honor them and work through them. In the past, she says denial was one of her default operating modes. Now, we're talking about unhealthy denial here, not unity denials. Unhealthy denials is when we're really feeling something and we say we aren't. Have you ever seen someone say, no, I'm not angry? Ever seen anybody say that? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not really that sad or depressed. Mm-hmm. That's an unhealthy denial. We're lying to ourselves. A unity denial, on the other hand, says, man, I'm really angry. And I don't need that power. I don't want that power to control me. I'm not going to give over to the power of anger. I kind of set it off to the side like a Post-it note in my brain. Okay, I'm angry. And I'm going to place my power, direct my power to my goals or to what I want in life, okay, to what's authentic and resonates with my good. The point here is Felicia ultimately came to a spiritual awareness of what she needed in life and an understanding of what she had been doing that precluded her living the life she needed to live. She got it. And it all began over premiere movie tickets. We never know what will trigger us into deeper understandings. You probably heard of, who wrote the book, Discover the Power Within You? Was that Butterworth? Yeah, that was Butterworth. Or the universe, I'm thinking of the universe is calling. Who wrote that one? I forget. But sometimes the universe calls at inconvenient times. But when it calls, we need to respond to it. And speaking of deeper feelings, I was listening to a YouTube video by the late Reverend Johnny Coleman. Anybody heard of her? Yeah, Johnny is a Unity minister who went on to become more of a New Thought minister and had a humongous congregation, like 5,000 strong or more on the south side of Chicago. Really dynamic. A dynamic African-American minister. So she's reading this portion of this book titled The Law by Raymond Hollowell. And here's what she says. She says, we are surrounded by a universal mind in which we think. The mind in its original space fills all space. Okay? It fills the space that we each use in the universe. It is in us as well as around us. And as we think into this universal mind, we set a law into motion. A law which is creative and which contains within itself limitless possibility. The law through which we operate is infinite and perfect. No exceptions to this law. There is no limit to this law. She says, I don't care how you try to limit it, we do not make the law just is. And it was established before there was any form here on earth. And the law is exacting and exact. No exceptions. The law is impersonal. The law is impersonal and does not care, and it does not know who uses it nor for what purpose. And here's the bottom line to me. But because it is impersonal, it is compelled by its very nature to return to the thinker exactly what we think into it. You think today's going to be a crummy day? Guess what? You think you can be a success in life? Guess what? that law is going to come back to you and to me. So if we have an understanding of who we are and how the law works, then as Eric Butterworth advised us to do, stand guard at the door of our mind, be careful what we think, be careful what we say, don't sit around and complain, don't focus on what you don't want in life, focus on what you want. That law will bring that back to you, whatever you think into it. Johnny Coleman goes, who could be rather feisty, says, stop blaming anybody for where you are or what you are not. She says, the only reason you are there is because you keep on thinking broke, you keep on thinking sick, and you keep on thinking failure. And the law is compelled to fulfill. I would add, we're there because we keep thinking, I can do this. Because we keep thinking, I'm a success. I'm unlimited. I'm full of God. I don't know why. Unity ministers tend to use the negatives as examples. We don't have to go there. The law does not care, she says, until you change your thoughts and learn how to change your life. It will continue to act and bring to you whatever you set into motion for yourself. So if I say no and I mean to say yes, I'm not going to be very happy because I set that into motion. She says the law is perfect, so stop arguing with it. I'll add, the law is perfect, so continue to use it to your advantage. Put it out there. Think into the substance or the ethers, as Charles used to say. What you want in life, what your goals are. Focus on them, and then take steps in that direction. She goes on to say the law is impersonal. The law doesn't care about who you are, where you've been. The law does not care. To me, the law is like the sun and the soil. The sun and the soil, they don't care if they're giving up their energy for a mighty oak tree, a beautiful rose, or a pesky dandelion or a ragweed. They just know to give it up. Same with the law. It just knows to give it to you what you want to be in your life. You know, in I think most traditional religions, even the way some unity folks practice, but not so much. It's like, here's the law, here's God, and this is you, okay? And if you do the right thing, if you pray the right way, engage in the right behavior, God's going to give you a little bit, okay? And then if you continue to do whatever religious, spiritual community you're in, whether go to church every day or pray or whatever it is, if you continue to do that right, you get a little bit more of that. And maybe when you die, the cup is full. I think that's pretty traditional. God, you. The law, you. I'd say it doesn't work that way. Here's how it works. God, you. You're surrounded by it. It's outside of you. It's inside of you. You can't separate it from you. And yet, if you want to move around in it any way you want, imagine this whole room was this picture, and you were the cup. You could move around with it any way you wanted, couldn't you? And what's so interesting about this power, the law or God, whatever you want to call it, was as powerful as it is, and it created the entire universe. All it can do with us is give us the opportunity to be who we are. Maybe suggest in some ways when we start to get an understanding of who we are, of what we're really about. Folks, this is you. That's the understanding that it is my hope you leave here with today. Divine wisdom, the ultimate illumination that we refer to as understanding, can only suggest what is ours to do. It is up to move forward in understanding. Say yes when we mean to say yes, and say no when we mean to say no. This is true if I'm reading a church policies regarding speaking. This is true for Felicia as she realized that a primary culprit was her falling into the trap of living into the images that others had for her. And it's true if we are saying yes when we would rather say no. So in conclusion, whatever we think into the substance comes back to us. We're going to live it. That is the clearest understanding I hope you take away from this day together. And if you choose to apply some of that understanding to why you procrastinate and put things off, I hope I see you at my workshop at 1:30 today. Or is it 1 o'clock? What time is it? 1:30? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your attention.